Hello everyone, and welcome to the first gameplay video for King's Quest I, Quest for the Crown. I have some things I want to go over with you before we start the playthrough, so let me get into that real quick. I wanted to clarify something here with this game. As you can see, the copyright at the bottom is for 1987. The original King's Quest I came out in 1984 for the IBM PCjr. And later for several other systems between 1984 and 1989. The game was originally titled King's Quest. The subtitle Quest for the Crown was added to the game box in the 1987 re-release, but did not appear in the game. So you don't see it in the title. But this was on the game box when you bought it, and it's from this release. And notice I said re-release, so this is not the bare bones original version. It's essentially more or less kind of a remaster in a way back then in 1987. Because yeah, believe it or not, even Sierra remastered some of these games, including this. This actually has a proper remaster version, even a newer one. But this King's Quest I was 1984. Can tell you here the other popular game in the series, Space Quest. The first Space Quest, that didn't come out until 1986. So this was 2 years even before the first Space Quest game. So yeah, this is not the actual original, but I'm counting it as the original in my sequence of playing series, you know, generally from the first game in the series to the latest. And this is what I have. So our only option here is to press continue. So I just wanted to clarify that with you real quick. And the time to beat on King's Quest I should be roughly 3 to 4 hours if you know what you're doing, which with me and old Sierra games, it's a little bit of I have no idea what's happening and oh yeah, I remember this part. So the type of gameplay will just be normal. We're not collecting anything special in this game, just, you know, what we need hopefully to complete it. Also, please see the description in this video for other useful information and links that I'll provide to like walkthroughs and wikis and just points of information. So this was pretty much the introduction cutscene. Usually I say first we'll watch the opening cutscene and then I'll go over game controls and the UI, which I just said. So let's watch the opening cutscene then. And just here you are. You're plopped right into the game world. And no less by a castle. So maybe we've already beaten the game. Maybe we are the king of King's Quest, and we're just taking a leisurely stroll this morning out by the moat of death by the gators. And this is our castle. Or maybe we've already beat the game and we have to play the game like in reverse or something. No, I'm just kidding. So we'll go over the controls here. In these old Sierra games, you see the command prompt down there. We can type and say, look around. You see nothing special. Well, this is a great start to our adventure. And you get a response or you do something. There is sound in the game, sounds on. There's just no ambience of the flags. But there is mild sound effects in these early games. But in these early games, when you press escape, it'll bring up an action bar because it was kind of designed in a way like it was an application, you know, like a word processor would have, you know, file, edit, view. And you get an info tab and you get about King's Quest and help. So we'll look at that. King's Quest was designed by Roberta Williams. Yes, it was. Help. This tells you shortcuts you can press. F1 displays this screen. F2 turns the sound off and on. F3 retypes the last line typed. F5 saves your current game. F7 loads a saved game. F9 restarts the game completely. It may skip the intro and plop you right by the castle. Tab shows the status screen, basically your inventory. Escape activates the menus that I just explained. 0, you can jump in this game and duck and swim. So, pretty ahead of its time, right? I mean, this is King's Quest 1 we're talking about. Control J sets up your joystick. I just love how these games talk about joysticks. But I had one back in the day when I had my Tandy computer. I had one of those little bitty joysticks. It was like a really skinny plastic, hard plastic, good plastic stick. Really skinny though, and it had like a red button on the top left corner. It was like an Atari controller basically, but not as like, you know, Atari's stuff was really like big and boxy, so this was like pretty streamlined even for back then. So that brings that up. File is where you can save. It shows you the shortcut you can use along with it. Save and restore, restart. Alt-Z quits the game. You can also type in these games, I don't think it's exit. Oops, it's not exit. Neither is that. I can't do that, at least not now. Quit. If you type quit, it gives you the option. If you press enter again, it'll quit. Or if you press escape, you keep playing. And that's the same thing as doing like Alt-Z. Game, C objects, F4 and tab. I'll show you a screen here. Yeah, save screen. So I'm using the classics. You can make it look like the ScummVM emulator. Not emulator, I don't want to call ScummVM an emulator because that's not what it is. If you're using the ScummVM front end or application to play this, you can make it look like ScummVM's interface HUD for saving and loading, or you can use the classic. And you get 99 save slots. There's some games, modern games today, that only give you like 5 save slots. Sierra was giving you a 99 back in 1987. Granted, you know, it just saves a small file, but we're going to make this here be our, the first one is just going to be our, what do I want to call it? I guess just our quick save, or do I want to call it main save? I think I'm just going to go with quick save. That'll be on 1, and then this will be the fresh like area. Start by. That's the nice thing too. You could, I don't know how many characters you can put in here. That's it. Till the end of the black line. Basically, one short. But you could name them whatever you wanted to, so you could like kind of describe where you were in the game for your save. Start by castle. So I'm going to use this just to save, you know, just cautiously, because you should. In Sierra games, you should save very often so that you don't lose progress. And you can save whenever you want. And then I'll use like the extra slots just for like kind of main saving points, like hard saving spots, I guess I should call it. Okay, same thing, restore gives you the option of, yeah, there wasn't an auto save in the original games. I think the auto save feature is coming from ScummVM. Of course, you think at this point in my YouTube video making career, if it's a career, I wouldn't call it a career yet, but you think I would have learned by now to start my timers. But I keep forgetting. So I'm going to put this one, I'm actually going to start it at 30 minutes. I was just going to do a 30-minute video, but since I'm doing a lot of explaining here like I always do, I'm going to give us another 30 minutes here in this video length. So ScummVM is providing the feature for the autosave, and then there's my quick save, and there's whatever hard saves you have. This may be common knowledge to people, but I just like explaining this stuff for people that never played these games. I just like for people to see how it is. So I'm explaining how it is. We went through all that. So C objects, F4. This will bring up your bright, blinding white screen here. You're carrying nothing. We don't have anything. Press enter to select and escape to cancel. Or you can press, yeah, you have to press, you can't press F4 again. And inventory is, it's kind of the same thing, but it's different. I think one lets you, I forget which one it is. Maybe I can tell here. Yeah, the one that doesn't highlight anything, which is just inventory, which would be tab. I don't think you can really manipulate anything in there. You can just see it. But if you use the C object, you can see it, use it, and like kind of get a little description about it. Because that's what my shortcut does, is highlights nothing. Okay. You'll have to bear with me too as I get used to what my, that's for restoring, my actual keybinds I've made for myself are across my keyboard and mouse that I'm using to just do things. The only game I've played a bunch of these games, CR games. I've played a ton of them. Space Quest, King's Quest, all that. But lately, and on my channel, I've only played Space Quest 1, the original, so far, and now I'm playing the original King's Quest, and I don't know what I will play next by Sierra. I may go back to Space Quest and play Space Quest 2. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, just bear with me as I get used to test. I don't understand test. As what my controls do. Okay, that does that. It's just going to take a while for me to get used to what my stuff does here. Okay, so continue. We'll look at the inventory again once we have stuff. So swim, jump, duck. You need water. You need to be in water in order to swim. Yeah, you do. So you can jump. And, okay, can't swim. Ah, crap. I made number pad 1 my shortcut for swimming, and it's making him type 1, so annoying, but we'll probably not even use it anyway. And then you can duck. You can't, maybe that's the wrong button. No, it's the wrong button. There's no reason to do that now. Yeah, it's typing numbers because those are my actual shortcut keys making the action happen. I may have to address that somehow. It's not a big deal though. But what I was saying is that you can't jump out of a duck, but you can unduck. Yeah, I'll have to fix that for sure, because it just keeps typing. Just backspace to clear, enter to type a command. But anyway, I just think it's funny that you can do that. Equals 0 and 1. So yeah, those are not keys that I have close to me, but that would work. So I'm not really sure when you can utilize it. You can't run and jump either, so it's kind of funny it's there, but okay. Special sound on, off, F2. You want to turn the sound on or off, and when you do it, it'll indicate up there sound is off or sound is on. Reset joystick, doesn't matter, we're not using a joystick. Escape pauses. You can see the flags stop moving, the indicators stop swimming. And then speed, normal. So this is normal walking speed. You can't walk diagonally. If you press the same direction you're walking, you'll stop immediately. Just up, down, left, and right, and that's normal. And then this is fast, and you can see everything goes faster. Not just your movement, the game's animations completely go faster. And then slow is like really at a snail's pace. But back in the day, if you didn't have a really beast of a computer back then you might have to make your stuff move slow just to play the game. And then normal, we're just going to be doing normal. It's not terrible. So let's look at our numbers here. So you can see the game is only running at 10 FPS. So, like literally 1% of my total capacity of my graphics card, G use, is being utilized. Only 1% of my card because the game's so old. I don't think the frame rate changes. Yeah, it does. Okay, so when it's running in fast, you're running at a maximum of 40 FPS, which, yeah, seems about right. And slow would be like, so if you ever wanted to know and see what 5 frames per second looks like, you know, there you go. So we're going to be opting for 10, just because that's normal. It's cool to see now how fast the game was actually running back then. I'm going to make a new save here. New quick save, just overwrite. Okay. So that about covers it. Yeah, and for controls, I'm using the arrow keys. I mean, you could make it so, well, maybe not. No, yeah, you would have to use the arrow keys. See, this is another reason. I've probably said it before. Sorry, you're going to hear me tapping because I'm using keyboard. This is a keyboard played game. You didn't use a mouse. You didn't need to. There was no point in clicking arrow. We don't have a cursor in this game. Growing up playing Doom and stuff on PC and playing this and Space Quest, you moved your characters with the arrow keys, so that got me into using those keys for movement instead of the WASD like everybody else uses. But that's normal in a game like this because you need the typing area of your keyboard to tell your dude what to do. Okay. So look around. Look at castle. This is the castle of King Edward the Benevolent. Who are you? I don't understand R. So, and as you can see, this game has a score of 0 of 158. So you get points for doing things and making progress. I am referencing a walkthrough that's linked in the description of this video. Let me actually switch over to that. That's coming from the Sierra Chess website. And it's a nice one. It gives you a brief... It's pretty straight and to the point, just highlighting, okay, this is what you need to do, go here, get this, this is the amount of points you will get and will have, I think, once you do this, yeah. I think is how that works, yeah. So it'll help you get a maximum, apparently the maximum is 159, so some Sierra games are like that. You're able to get 1 to... I don't know, maybe the most 2 points over what the actual total is. It's kind of like getting an Easter egg score or doing something, you know, a really unique way or something, and that you points that are actually over the maximum. But I'm not going, in any of these games, I'm not going for total score. I'm not that good. I don't know these games enough to be able to perform that well for you guys to do that. I'm just hoping for completion, so... That's what we are trying to do. Alright, let's go up here. Can I go in this water and not die? Because I don't think they'll come over here. Misfortune strikes, and you have fallen into the moat. Your struggles and cries have attract hungry alligators. They do not want to let you go. Okay. Wonder if I'm going to get copyright claim for that little jingle. We at Sierra wish to thank you for playing King's Quest. We are very sorry that you did not succeed and hope you will fare better next time. Good luck. And I love how the game, like, it's like the world just continues to go and do what it was doing, except you're not in it anymore. So then now we have to go and we have to restore. Let me do it how I should do it. To restore, yes. So restore quick save, and then we just appear out of nowhere, and there we are again. So I guess alligators get me from the other side. So first thing I'm going to do is look in this hole in the tree. Look in hole. You can't do that, at least not now. Look at tree. This is a very beautiful tree. Look at tree hole. Alright, because a lot of times, I mean, that's where an item is going to be. Whoa, I almost fell off. I couldn't judge the perspective of this bridge. So obviously, stay out of the water. I thought he might chill and swim on the other side. Man, they got 4 of these suckers. Man, what are they feeding them? I guess people. Alright. Look. Castle. King Edward the Benevolent, the mighty ruler of Daventry, lives in this castle. Well, have you been invited? Knock. You don't have to press enter to type either, you just start typing. And I have the game set up to not pause. I will let games pause that would do that in the future, but for the originals, I don't believe they did pause at all when you did stuff, so I just leave the game active while I'm typing. Your knock echoes within the castle. Unfortunately, no one answers. Okay, can you just open it? The huge doors swing open slowly. It's not locked or anything. Look around. You see nothing special. We got 1 point for opening the door, so... See, it's like getting our first Steam achievement, you know, just for getting past the title screen, you know, clicking start new game. Look, armor. This is the armor of one of King Edward's knights from years ago. What about this other one? So the retype command is nice because you can just press like a single keybind and it will just type the last thing you typed. So if you were trying to pick up something and you couldn't pick it up, and you think something else beside it you could pick up and you want to try that again, you don't have to type it in again. We're not going to die in here, thankfully. This area is actually safe inside. Man, I'm so glad these games are still playable. This is what I grew up on. Look around. Look, king. You are not close enough to see him clearly. Look, man. That man is the king. Well, you're close enough to tell he's the king. Guess it's obvious. So I should probably kneel, right? Can't do that at least. Maybe I need to get up here. I want to kneel, can I? Bow. It is proper to stand directly in front of and a few paces back from King Edward when addressing his eminence. Well, I thought I was. Maybe I shouldn't even climb up. There we go. Got 3 points for that. When you bow to King Edward, his pleased smile warms you. Wow, I got 3 points for doing that. Glad I did that. What did you do? Like, bow with your back turned? Can we do it again? There's no need to bow again. Can I salute? Bow salute. I don't understand salute. Okay. Talk to king. Look at king. Because you're close enough now, alright? King Edward the Benevolent is a very wise but elderly monarch. His frail body is almost lost in the large throne. Yeah, he looks pretty rough. Man, you're looking pretty rough. You look like a bunch of pixels. Talk to king. Don't understand. Well, I don't understand that either. Wow. When you speak to King Edward, he sighs and says, Sir Graham. So our name is Sir Graham. I am an old man. I fear my end is near. I have chosen you to prove yourself worthy of the throne. As you know, our kingdom is weak and poor. I have knowledge of the existence of 3 things that would make our kingdom wealthy and strong. Somewhere within our kingdom, there is a magic mirror that tells the future. There is a magic shield that will protect the bearer from mortal harm. Finally, there is a magic chest that is always filled with gold coins. Go, Sir Graham, go and bring me back these treasures. If you succeed, you will inherit the throne. Sweet. Alright, I'm going to type this in my notes. If I can get my notes. Because that's our main quest. Collect. So we're looking for a mirror. A magic mirror. We're looking for a shield. I'm typing this, that's why I'm taking a moment to speak. And I'm having trouble typing. And a chest is what we're looking for. Shield. I always spell shield E-I instead of I-E. It's just a problem I have with that word. Take a sip of drink. Let you guys read this if you haven't, if you want to. So, this kingdom is weak and poor. I mean, it did look a little rough outside. They had overgrown bushes. There was no, like, live guards, like, guarding the door. The door wasn't even locked. There's not even any guards in here. We just walked in off the street up into the castle. So, a magic mirror that tells the future, a shield that will protect the bearer from mortal harm, and a chest that gives you infinite money. Bring all these back, and you will inherit the throne. Press key to continue. He just kind of gave us a little mouth and hand gesture. Let's try to talk to him again. Go, Sir Graham, go and bring me back these treasures. Okay. It is proper to stand directly in front of it. Get my bow on. It would show more respect if you were closer and in front of that King Edward. How close do you want me to be? There's no need to bow again. Okay, so. Alright. Look at flag. You see nothing special. Look at wall. Okay. So that's all that's in here. I guess these are like pews, like church pews. Like the brown part is where you sit with your back to, and this is like the wall in front. That's the really cool thing about these games too, at least it was back in the time, is that there was perspective. You know, you're walking behind this pillar and the building here, the arch. So there's like depth, a sense of depth. This doesn't lead anywhere that I remember, no. So we just need to make our way back out and start exploring the kingdom of Daventry, like Legend of Zelda style, basically. We don't get a map. You could get a map online, find one to reference, but they don't really give you maps in these games. So you're just meant to explore and find and figure it out. He keeps on walking to his death. Okay, so let's save. Let's do our quick save again. Okay. So, basically we could just start going to the left from the castle, and we can go to the right. I guess from here, let's just start going left, and eventually the game will kind of loop on itself, and then you know you've kind of, just like Legend of Zelda would, the original, So you can walk behind this tree. It would eventually loop behind itself. Or loop upon itself. Okay. You know, it's kind of worth trying to look around in every screen. Because if there is something special, then he should mention it, and that'll give you a clue as to where you should be going. Look at ground. You don't have to say look at the ground, you can just say at ground. Well, what are the sparkles? Look, flowers. Alright. Look, rock. You see a large gray rock. Okay. Let's save real quick. I'm going to be quick saving a lot in these games, so do apologize if that offends anybody. With the heave and a hoe, you managed to move the rock, revealing a dark hole underneath. Probably something worse than the rock. I don't understand why he's got to walk forward after doing it. We got 2 points, I think, for doing that. So I want to reload and show you an alternative to that. Because you can push it from below as well, I believe. Push rock. The moving rock rolls downhill and you, unfortunately, are in the way. You get Looney Tuned. We at Sierra wish to thank you for playing King's Quest. We're very sorry that you did not succeed and hope you will fare better next time. Good luck. I won't read this every time. I'm just trying to see if it has a different... Sometimes they say a lot of different things, so that's just death. Insta-death. So you have to push it from at the top. He didn't move... Yeah, he did move forward. Luckily, you don't fall down the hole from moving forward. Look at the hole. There's an intricately carved dagger in the hole. Is it a cursed dagger? You could see it better if you picked it up. Get dagger. You reach into the hole and grasp the dagger, being careful not to cut yourself. And in the process, you get bit by, you know, Daventry's most poisonous snake. 11. Okay, so we got a lot of points going right now. So now if we look at our inventory, and we can highlight the dagger, press enter, its handle is beautifully carved, the blade is bronze and very sharp. You can't rotate it or nothing, just get a flat little image of it, but at least you get a representation of what you're carrying. I mean, this was before, you know, before Resident Evil and stuff like that that showed you your inventory items, you know, things like that, clearly. So really cool. So it's a bronze blade, beautifully carved and sharp. So use dagger. What do you wish to do with it? So we have something it's not going to be used to, it's not going to be used to, what am I trying to say? Protect ourselves. It's going to be used more to probably cut something. Let's look in the hole again. There's nothing in this hole but dirt. Well, if we need some dirt, we know where to get it. This looks interesting. Look at bush. Look in front of your face. Look in pockets. Sometimes you can type things. I don't know what they are. Roberta Williams. How can you not understand Roberta? Sierra Space Quest. Sometimes you can type things in if you know what to type, and it'll give you something unique in response. Okay. Well, water's dangerous for any adventurer in any game, generally. Look. You do not have any water. Look at lake. This is a serene mountain lake. Maybe we could fish up in here. But we could try to get in there. There's no reason to do that now. I'm trying to make him swim. Okay. Oh, what was going on? Jeez, man. I thought I was making you swim, bro. What's my swim action? That. Let's see if this does it. Okay, he still types, but you press it again, he won't unswim. You are swimming, so it's like you do have to literally press your keybind or tell him to swim. Otherwise he'll drown. That's so... That's the kind of protagonist we're working with here. We can swim, so that's cool. Maybe we don't want to swim to the other screen, though. Let's try. Let's try to, though. I'll just make a save. Oh, he was actually... What are you hitting? Oh, he's actually hitting like a lily pad or something. Okay, props. He's too dumb to, like, start swimming, but he can swim, and this is, like, safe. I'm surprised. I remember swimming in Space Quest. Not 1, but 2. There's some crazy swimming segments in Space Quest 2. Look at tree. This is just a normal tree, but very pretty. Look hole. Look at tree hole. You can't do that at least now. Maybe if I duck. Look in hole. Look tree. Okay. You look like you're getting ready to stalk on somebody, dude. Stand up. Okay. Let's go this way. Well, at least there's not a lot of music to get copyright claimed for in Sierra's original games. Look at log. It is only a rotted log. Look inside log. It is only a rotted log. Alright, man. I'm gonna try to look in it. See nothing special. What about that rock over there? You have to treat everything in these kinds of games as important. Not everything. Like, obviously this this gray tree here is not gonna probably be important, but I want to look at the rock. There's nothing extraordinary about this rock. Okay. Continuing on. What's that white speck back there in that bush or whatever that is? It's kind of odd. More water. Okay, nothing special. Gonna save again. At least saving's quick, so we're gonna make him swim. I don't know what is going on up here. That looks a little weird. Okay. So man, we're like a chill walking simulator up in here. Okay, here's our loop. So now we've made a loop. And yeah, it's a smart idea, because when you walk from one screen to the next, you'll keep walking. So like, once you transition, it's good to press the stop button so that you won't possibly walk off of a ledge that's like immediately in the next screen here. So this would be actually a good place for us to stop here. My timers are going off on me now. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Close to probably an hour, 50 minutes, something like that. But I know we didn't make much progress, but I had a little bit to talk about, and we've at least made a wraparound here on the first kind of tier. You have to think of these games on like grid paper, you know, whatever measurement you want to do for a block size, but like these are like tile size screens, you know, and each one connects up from one to the other, and there's only so many that could be used in the game and so forth, and eventually they just wrap around. You could run into a screen that does not let you progress the other way, like this one does. You just have to walk around from the front, or maybe go back. We'll end up going up this way, and we'll go behind the castle probably. So anyway, we'll stop this video here. Thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate everybody's interest, and we will see you in the next video. So bye.